I think that experience was probably a little bit less about relationships than it was just about um, putting yourself in the right position. And sometimes it's putting yourself in the right position to form a relationship. So the way that that's kind of story went down was that I wanted to go to business school, and I'd worked for a startup and wasn't really happy there, and I'd formed a relationship with who's a guy that is now my co-founder, Sean Whiteley. And so I kind of we both were working in this company and we wanted to do something else. And I wanted to go to business school. I was in my late 20s. And I thought that was the key to success in, to rise up in the software industry. And he said, let's don't go to business school, like start a company with me. And I'm like, I don't know. We don't know how to do that. Like, and he goes, well, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? We're going to sit in my apartment for 6 months. We're going to each lose like $5,000 and it's going to fail and you're going to go to business school. So just go do that. What's the worst thing that can happen? I was like, you're right. And so we built this small company and we had this kind of like cool new technology that integrated Google's ad system with Salesforce and showed you who was like, converting in your digital ads, and no one had done it at that time. And Salesforce had created this platform called AppExchange at the time, and they were creating this app store, the first like of its kind. And we heard they were having like a demo day in San Francisco. So we applied and we were one of the 6 companies that got selected. So here we are on this stage at the Palace Hotel in San Francisco, and there's like 1,000 people in the room. And I'm like, oh my God, I've never presented to 1,000 people before. And I didn't really know who was in the room, but it was just sort of like a test of like, can we get our company off the ground? Can we show it to all these people? What will they think? So we stood up on stage, we had 6 minutes and we did this like product demo. And as it turns out, like who was in the audience? And this is what you always got to think. Who's in the audience? I don't know who's listening to your program right now. This is a podcast. Who knows who's going to listen to this? But you always got to think who's in the audience. As it turns out, all the kind of powers that be at Salesforce were in the audience. And we kind of left that and people clapped and we thought we did a good job, and got a call later that afternoon from a guy named Teens Woe, who is the founder and CEO of Zuora now, then at Salesforce. He was one of kind of the top dogs at the company, and Mark was in the room, and a bunch of other people. And then they called us into Salesforce and said, like, do you want to sell us this company? You're doing something really cool and strategic with an big company on the internet, Google, and I think there could be a thing here. And we were like, this is a great chance to have an exit, be part of something bigger. This is a shot that maybe we wouldn't have gotten if we didn't put ourselves in that position. So kind of the moral of the story is you don't know who's going to be in the audience. And to form those relationships and make some of that magic happen, you just kind of got to go for it, even though it feels scary as hell.